How's it going, everybody? Chadley here, and today we're finally going to be updating our Frosted FL4K build. Now that Headcount has been working, you guys have been requesting this a ton, so I thought I'd make this super quick video, just kind of updating the recent changes and things I have kind of altered since our last little update. And obviously the biggest one is the Headcount, and we can actually play this build how we originally were supposed to. So let's just go ahead and jump right into the gear. So first off, this first slot is just basically kind of like a random mobbing weapon. You can use basically whatever. In our original build, I really did like the bloom. I still use the bloom from time to time, but I also found this Tiggs boom, and it actually is insane for mobbing, and I really enjoy using this thing, especially on this build. I have a ×9. You can get a little bit even more damage, obviously, if you get the ×18, but you're just gonna have to reload more with the ×18, so it's completely up to you what kind of pellet count you want. But then I definitely recommend 200 splash on here. And also the CRYO version just fits in fantastic with our Frosted FL4K build. But you guys can seriously use whatever in the slot, just something that can kill mobs pretty easily. And then moving down, the light shows are basically some of the best weapons right now for FL4K. Super high damage, and you get the mobility as opposed to like a Monarch. So I highly recommend getting your hands on a couple light shows. I really like to run around with a CRYO version. This just destroys for mobbing sections. You can kill people super fast and get some pretty decent clear speeds. Also, the CRYO version is going to freeze them, and you guys are going to have super easy times hitting those headshots and taking them out really quick. So I definitely recommend at least a CRYO version. And then for armor like Wotan, I like a corrosive version. I don't have 100 RAKK attack, but this 100 bonus corrosive works great. We're basically just doubling our damage, and it works very well. You can just melt through Wotan and Valkyries, whatever kind of armor you need with that. But then just switch that one out with whatever element you need, depending on what kind of enemies you're fighting. If you're fighting shields, throw on a shock one, and then flash, obviously do a fire one. You guys will be good to go. And then in our fourth slot, we're going to be still rocking a Plague Bearer, because right now, FL4K survivability, since our last little update of this build, has gone up substantially. But the enemies are still doing M10 damage, so we do need to take out a lot of them quickly, and also from a distance, and the Plague Bearer is by far our best bet for that. You guys can just spam this in an area like the Malawan Takedown Bridge, and just have a super fast clear speed, and also it's going to increase your survivability a ton, because those enemies are never going to get a chance to shoot you. So right now, I definitely really recommend a good Plague Bearer, at least until the enemy weapon damage is fixed. And I'm not sure when that's going to be. Hopefully within the next couple weeks, in the next patch, we'll see a fix for that, because that is by far the biggest plague on FL4K right now, is just the enemy weapon damage. But right now, his survivability is pretty darn good besides that. So then moving down, we can finally use our Frozen Heart shield. Now, I definitely recommend you guys using the Frozen Heart over something like the Snowshoe, because the Frozen Heart's Nova is going to do way more damage than the Snowshoe's Nova, and the healing is based off of the Nova damage you do. So if you guys want the full health, basically full health right when you cast your RAKKs and an enemy gets hit by the Nova, use the Frozen Heart, otherwise the Snowshoe is not going to heal you up all the way. So that's why I highly recommend getting a Frozen Heart instead of a Snowshoe. If you guys don't want to use a Frozen Heart, just use a stopgap with the action skill start effect. You're basically invincible with this thing, so if you don't want to run the freezing, you can do that. It's completely up to you. And then moving down for a grenade, I just like to use It's Piss, because we don't really need a Hunter Seeker to get our action skill back. So normally I'll just run the It's Piss for the debuff. So then for our class mod with this build, we are going to be using a Bounty Hunter, and I definitely recommend only using a Bounty Hunter, and then having at least one Frenzy, which is the blue skill, in it, because that way we can actually proc Frenzy, because our skill tree is actually built around having that as a perk in our class mod. But if you guys don't want to be rocking the Bounty Hunter, your skill tree is going to change from this, but I'll show you guys what that is going to be in case you do not want to rock a Bounty Hunter. But I definitely find the Bounty Hunter is best in slot for this build. And then our artifact is going to be the Pearl, by far the best damaging artifact we have. And if you guys don't have the Pearl, just rock an Icebreaker Auto Idol or Snowdrift Auto Idol. It's completely up to you if you want the movement speed or a little bit more damage on the frozen enemies. Completely up to you. So let's go ahead and take a look at our skill tree. We're going to start here in the Hunter skill tree, because we do have Headcount working with RAKK, so we are going to spec into that. But obviously, we're going to be using RAKKs, and I like Falconer's Feast and Flock and Load. We don't need RAKK Accelerate anymore since we have Headcount working. If you guys don't find the Falconer's Feast healing to be that substantial, you can put on RAKK Open a Cold One and turn your RAKKs into CRYO. It's up to you, but I like just to get as much healing as possible right now with how much damage the enemies are doing. But starting us off, we're going to do 3 points into Leave No Trace so we can get that ammo back. 5 points into Interplanetary Stalker. This helps out a ton with damage. And also our action skill damage when we're killing humans, so our RAKKs can do a ton of damage. Then 3 points into Headcount for getting those RAKKs back so we can spam those Frozen Heart Novas and get the healing. And then 5 points into Hunter's Eye. 3 points into Big Game. 3 points into Most Dangerous Game. 1 point into Galactic Shadow. This recently got a buff, so enemies are less likely to target flak even more than they used to. So this skill is definitely worth that 1 point. And then we're going to do 2 points into Grim Harvest to get us down to Megavore, which is by far Flak's best skill. Definitely going to need that. And then moving on to our Stalker skill tree, 5 points into Furious Attack, 5 points into Overclocked, and then 3 points into Self-Repairing System, 1 point into Lick the Wounds, so our pet can revive us, 3 points into Turn, Tail, and Run, so we get that gun damage while we're standing still. So definitely start playing around Turn, Tail, and Run if you guys aren't. So when you need to do a lot of damage quickly, just stop moving, just stop hitting the left stick if you're on controller or WASD on PC, and just stand still and dish out that damage. And then 3 points into Fast and Furious for the gun damage and movement speed while we're above half health. That is huge. 5 points into Rage and Recover. This recently got fixed and is an amazing survivability skill for Flak, so I definitely recommend using this. Also, Bounty Hunter can proc Rage and Recover even without the kill, so it's huge healing for us, and I definitely recommend that. And then 3 points into Self-Repairing System to get us down to Power Inside. This is going to be at 50% bonus a lot, because even if you're at low health, cast a RAKK to hit the Nova and heal you to full, and then cast another RAKK, and then you can get the 50% damage bonus from Power Inside. And then since we are using a Bounty Hunter, this is why we're going down Blue Tree. We're going to do 3 points in Persistence Hunter for the gun damage, and then at this point, we just need 2 more points to get down to He Bites, so I just like to put 1 point into each of the pet skills, and then 1 point into He Bites, because this can proc Frenzy for us and stack that up, and we can get 16% extra damage with 2 in there. If you guys have 5 points of Frenzy on your Bounty Hunter class mod, you can get it up to 40% damage at max stacks, and it works very well. This is definitely like the best damaging way you can go with the red and green tree, now that we have that many skill points. But if you guys really don't want to be rocking a Bounty Hunter, just take all the points from Blue Tree and then put it into Grim Harvest, Second Intention, and then also 1 point into all my BFFs, and you guys will be good to go. So yeah guys, that's basically all the updates for Frosted Flag. This build didn't change all that much, but with the fixes that Flak has received lately, he's definitely way better. Now the only thing that we're waiting on is the enemy weapon damage to be changed. Once enemies are doing proper amounts of damage, this build is going to be even more insane than it already is. You guys are going to have 0 trouble surviving once that change is implemented, and you guys will be just destroying all content in the game for sure. Yeah guys, hopefully you enjoyed this update. If you guys did, make sure you leave a like on the video, and if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, definitely would appreciate a subscription. Otherwise, I will catch you over on Twitch. We stream basically every single night right around 8 p.m. Central Time. But have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next video. See ya.